Hey everyone, Harrison Kramer here. Thank you so much for finding yourself watching this video and maybe watching some of my shorts or other videos that I put out on the internet and on Instagram and Facebook. I hope you've been enjoying them. This is sort of a new thing for me, starting kind of in March that I started having kind of attention from people on the internet. So here I am. So today we are going to talk a little bit about how you, that's you, can get interested in learning magic and what sort of steps you can take to go on your own magic journey. Everybody's magic journey will be different. I cannot give you the keys to magic. You have to find it on your own. But the place that I would say most people start is with a deck of cards, because what cards allow you to do is kind of explore all of these different principles in magic using just something that you can carry around with you anytime and play with on the plane and on vacation and, in your room and in your living room and on the train and while you walk down the street and maybe even while you're driving. So, how do we get into card magic? Well, the first thing is we want to learn like basic card handling. You want to learn how to maybe do a riffle shuffle. You want to learn how to maybe do an overhand shuffle. You want to know how to deal cards onto the table. Then maybe you're going to learn some basic card moves like a secret lift of a different kind. You're going to learn maybe how to do a transposition of the halves of the deck, something called a pass. But where are you going to learn all of this stuff? Why are you going to learn it? What context are you going to learn it in? Well, I would say the first place to go to learn about card magic would be this, because reading from a book written by someone who really knows what they're talking about is going to help you 10 times more, 20 times more than just watching random YouTube videos, because you can do both alongside each other. You can buy magic tricks from the magic store, you can download tutorials or all this stuff, but really learning from a true master their steps for starting to understand your way around a deck of cards will help you more than anything. Now, there are tricks in here, but there's mostly, techniques. So you're going to take these techniques and you're going to combine them together to create tricks, right? So sir, pick a card, any card. So they choose a card, right? And you don't know the card. The deck has been shuffled by Sarah, who's over here. Sarah shuffled the deck. John chose the card. Great, John. We're going to place the card back inside the pack. And now, John, we're going to cut the card just a little bit like this, and then this will be John's card. Now, how did I do that? You didn't see the card, so you don't know. But I did that using a control. As I pushed the card in, I secretly grabbed a pinky break above the card and squared it up. And then in 2 cuts, I cut off a little bit, and then I cut at the break, and I've completed, so it looks like I'm doing triple cut, which should mix the deck. But really, here we are back at our controlled card. Now, this is not a trick that I expect you to just do right now, because it requires a push-through control, which will take you probably lots of practice to be able to do. But you're going to learn this kind of stuff and so much more from a book like this. So this is where you want to start. If you don't, necessarily want to stop here, you could also, I would say, get this. This is fairly dated, but this has lots of stuff. Tons and tons and tons of card magic, mentalism, magic with ropes and balls and tape and string and words and handkerchiefs and everything. So this is a series of 8 books. Tarbell Course in Magic, very famous. You might find it dated, but again, if you're gonna sort of go on a magic journey, these are really books that are kind of essential to at least have and look at to really start to understand this broader world of magic. So that's 2 books about card magic. A third, I would say, if you're really going down the rabbit hole, will be this one. I love this book. It has so much cool, interesting stuff in it. But again, this is like so much to take in. For a beginner card magician, you really want something, simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to combine this kind of like encyclopedic resource of a very high quality with all the other stuff that's out there that you can find anywhere. So let's talk about, where you might find this stuff. Well, first, there's the internet. There's companies like Penguin Magic, and Vanishing Ink, 2 of probably the best magic companies that you could buy magic from. Again, that's Penguin Magic and Vanishing Ink. and they both do a really good job. You can buy your decks of cards from them, but you can also buy, tutorials and tricks and books, and really all of the things that you can purchase in Magic can be purchased mostly from those two companies. If you are in New York City or other large cities, you can find yourself a magic shop. Here in New York City, we have a place called Tannen's Magic, which I believe is one of the oldest magic shops in the United States. So if you're in New York City, you should go to Tannen's Magic, because being around magicians and being around magic and starting to see all of the different things that are out there will start to build this knowledge base that will allow you to go from knowing nothing about magic to starting to understand all of these different principles and ideas and techniques and styles and thought leadership that is out there, so that you can start to figure out, hey, what do I enjoy performing? What do people enjoy watching me perform? So that's how I would recommend starting to get into card magic, would be those two books, and then find yourself a magic shop. Start, looking online for various different things that you like, and trying to figure out how those things work, and trying to figure out how to apply those principles to your own deck of cards. So then, if you wanted to go down more of the mental magic route, which is something that you will sort of see me do, I combine sort of sleight of hand magic with also mental magic. You go for something like this. This is the 13 Steps to Mentalism. It is quite a dated text. You will probably not pick this up and do virtually anything from inside it. But the reality is that unless you can start to soak in some of this stuff and understand the ideas that are in this book, you will probably not get very far in your journey of understanding magic and mentalism, because everything that exists is here. Not everything, but 95% of things that exist are here. And in the world of mentalism. And what is mentalism? Mentalism is mind reading magic, where we pretend that we're doing things that we're not, but really we are just we are using magic tricks that don't use cards and coins, but rather use the mind and systems and trickery of other kinds. So definitely something that you should have if you're interested in learning about mind reading magic. Again, there are far more useful texts than this, but I will have to let you find those on your own, because mentalism is not really something that we just go on the internet and talk about profusely. But start here and then go to Penguin and Vanishing for more, and maybe even the interwebs, and find other books along these lines. And that's how you'll sort of start to get into it, because there are so many different principles and ideas and techniques that you will come across and that you will forget over time, that combine together to create magic. And everybody uses their own set of different, techniques to accomplish what they're accomplishing. And realistically, you're not trying to do this trick or that trick. You're trying to learn these principles and these techniques such that you can combine your own stuff to create your own magic or your own art, right? And so finally we have a coin, a single coin, and there are many coin books. Bobo's Modern Coin Magic is one of them. But generally speaking, you need a coin, and you need a false transfer, and you need a production, and that's where you sort of start and you go from there. So something like the most famous sleight of hand move in magic is the French drop. And how are we doing that? Well, we're just acting like we grabbed the coin, but we're not actually grabbing it. We are keeping it in the same hand. You can look up French drop. Again, I'm not here to teach you the magic in this moment. I am here to sort of help you understand what is out there and how you can begin this journey. So this is about the size of a Morgan silver dollar. You can also do tricks with a $50, but essentially you're learning how to make it seem like the coin is somewhere that it's not. Right? You're learning how to produce the coin from thin air. So if I go like this, watch right there, it's not good, right? and you're going to feel that that's not good. It's not going to look good. So how do you do it well? And not that I'm a coin magician. Well, you make it seem like it just sort of comes right there out of the sort of pad here. And how do you do that? Well, you're sort of coming quickly, and then you're learning to push with your thumb to the edge of your fingertips and draw those fingers back at the same time as you sort of pull that hand back. And again, I am no coin magician. I'm not saying that I am. I'm just trying to explain the difference between doing something extremely poorly and learning how to do something so that it looks kind of nice, hopefully, or has some sort of magical quality or effect to it, right? For that, you will need a single coin and start to learn single coin tricks. You can make it vanish. You can make it reappear. You can, load it in someone's pocket. You can do all sorts of different things. You can load it underneath someone's watch. Well, how do you do that? How do you load a coin underneath someone's watch? Well, first, you have to vanish the coin and make it seem like it's in the other hand. And then you have to take the hand that has the coin, and you have to go ahead and stick that coin underneath their watch. Now, how do you actually accomplish that for real, deceptively in real time? Well, that will take magician skill sets that you probably don't have yet to develop. And once you can do it, you will know how to do it. And it's only through starting to learn and starting to go on this journey of magic for yourself that you will be able to know what is good and what is bad and what you like and what you don't like, and what you've seen and what you haven't seen. And that is how you do it in my mind. That is how you go on the journey of magic and find your way to discovering all the principles and ideas. Because nobody can give you magic. I cannot give you the secrets. Not that I can't give you the secrets, it's that there's so many secrets and so many different ways to apply them in so many different situations that you can only really discover it for yourself to make it function in your own life. So you can go out right now, you can buy yourself a deck of cards, you can go to your local coin shop and find yourself a $50 or a Morgan silver dollar. They're about $30 these days. They're about this big, but a $50 is only 50 cents, so you can get that as well. And that is where I would start. And like, for instance, like if I take, this coin and I can seal it in my hand and I get 2 cards, I can, show those cards on both sides. And I can, I'm doing it terribly right now because I'm sort of at a weird angle, but let me come to the top here. I can have this secretly in my hand. I can grab 2 cards. I can load the coin underneath the 2 cards. I can show this one, right? I can show this one. And then I can put them together and I can make a coin appear out from between the 2 cards. Now, this is like terrible. I'm doing this terribly right now. But the point is, how did I do this? Well, I learned how to secretly hold a coin in my hand. I learned how to load it in between the 2 cards. I learned a little bit of, choreography, which I didn't actually learn because I messed it up, right? I learned a little bit of choreography for kind of being able to display the 2 cards. Like, for instance, you can show the cards like this, right? So it seems like there's nothing there, but really what's happening, I'm just pulling the coin back a little bit so I can show a lot of the card. Right? You can come back and you can load the coin under this one. So you can show this one completely to be empty. You can do the same thing over here because what I've done is I've just passed the coin underneath while I'm showing to the other one, right? And then when you put this here, it will load the coin into the center and you can produce the coin out of the center. I'm not saying do this trick, but the point is this trick that you've just seen sort of me, butcher is a combination of 2 cards and a coin, and then, a little bit of sleight of hand technique, a little bit of choreography, a little bit of thinking, and hopefully a lot more practice than whatever I just did. And then you're on your way to making a coin appear out of thin air. And all you have to do is have it in your pocket and maybe do a card trick that ends with 2 cards. And then you pick up those 2 cards and you learn how to transition from the trick that you just did into a new trick, right? And then you're just continuing the amazement journey for your spectators. And you will only ever learn any of this by starting somewhere. And I recommend that you start any of these places, specifically this place. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. I have no idea, to be honest. And that is all. Thank you so much.